Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of ESPN Radio. 250-plus markets across the United States of America, and, of course, nationwide on ESPN Radio, Sirius XM style, Channel 80. Number to call up, as always, is 888-729-3776. That's 888-SAY-ESPN. Jam-packed show coming your way today. Stephen A. Smith on the NBA. Your boy, yours truly, on the NFL. They even got me in golf columns, for crying out loud. Certain people had a problem with what I had to say about Tiger Woods yesterday. So be it. Number to call up, as always, is 888-729-3776. That's 888-SAY-ESPN. It's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, best phones, best networks, no contracts. First things first, I had the pleasure of being at Madison Square Garden last night. I was there with winners for the Jimmy V Foundation, who were absolutely phenomenal to spend time around. Thank you for your contributions to the Jimmy V Foundation. No question about that. Maybe the single biggest thing that ESPN does, and we're incredibly grateful for all the folks who contribute to the Jimmy V Foundation, and we sincerely hope that it will continue for years and years and years to come. Having said all of that, there was a game that took place last night, and you know what? Give credit to the New York Knicks. They had us fooled. Because for a half, it actually ended up looking like a decent game. You thought you had a game. You got hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. We actually thought there was going to be a damn game. Emmanuel Mudiay looking like it was his coming out party. Tim Hardaway Jr. sitting there draining a few threes. Golden State looking relatively normal in the process. And then all of a sudden, halftime arrived. We were forced to wake up and smell the Old Spice, and we learned what we really, really already knew, that Golden State is simply on another level, basically toying with all comers. First, they victimized Oklahoma City this past Saturday night, and then obviously they ramrodded the New York Knicks last night. Final score didn't look that bad, 125-111. But we all know what time it was. After an interesting first half, Golden State came out and dropped 39 on the New York Knicks in the third quarter, limiting the New York Knicks to just 18 points in that quarter. Klay Thompson had 26. Steph Curry had 21. Kevin Durant had 22. All three of them shot better than 50% from the field. The Warriors as a team shot nearly 52% from the field and 48% from three-point range. And the New York Knicks essentially were toyed with and reduced to rubble. And as a result, they ended up losing this game 125-111. And it's just one of those situations where you look at the Golden State Warriors and you just sit up there and say, my God, what can anybody do to even make this interesting? There's nobody in the East, really. I mean, Cleveland, because of LeBron, and because of the requisite bodies that they've collected in this trade that sent Isaiah Thomas to L.A., Jamie Crowder to Utah, brought back Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. from L.A., Rodney Hood from Utah, George Hill from Sacramento, and you've got four able bodies, all capable of defending, adding depth to the squad. Once Kevin Love comes back, what can Cleveland be? Blah, 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 blah. Golden State's just on another level. They're just on another level. They literally sit back. Me sitting there talking to Steve Kerr last night before the game. Steve Kerr said it best. Steve Kerr was sitting up there going like this, look, man, sometimes it's hard because, obviously they tune you out. They've been here. They've done that. You've got to judge accordingly when to come down, bring the hammer down, when not to. You got to look at it for what it is. And the bottom line is very, very simple. The Golden State Warriors not only have a strong collection of talent that's unquestionably elite, but their individual parts are elite. It's one thing to know that as a team you can turn on the afterburners, take over, and do what you do. It's another thing entirely when you don't even have to have that attitude as a team. When just as an individual, you know at any given moment, you can amp it up several notches, take the hell over, and call it a day. That's the Golden State Warriors. So they need motivation, which is why Steve Kerr was raving about the fact that they played Oklahoma City Saturday night, because they needed that source of motivation to remind themselves of exactly who they are and what they're capable of. And that is what we're looking at here. Golden State is just on another level. So the question really begs, who's the team that can give them a run for their money? The only team that I could come up with is Houston. That's really what it comes down to, because Houston's the one team, because we all know Golden State's unstoppable. Houston's the one team that can sit up there and say, you know something? Not only do we find ourselves in a situation where it's about outscoring them, we actually think we have a possibility to actually pull it off and do it. And they're the only ones who do. I give them this sliver of a chance. Houston has a sliver of a chance if they get home court advantage. They get the number one seed, they get home court advantage, and as a result, they end up playing a potential Game 7 on their home court at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. That's what this really is. Outside of that, they have no chance. And by the way, as great as James Harden is, as great as Chris Paul has been, as good as the supplementary parts around them, the Eric Gordons, the Trevor Arizas, the Ryan Andersons of the world, and others. Clint Capella's too. Let's not forget him. Let's be very, very, very clear about what we're saying here. Individual ISO ball ain't gonna beat Golden State Warriors. They're just too long, y'all. They can defend with length at 4 different positions. And in the case of Chris Paul, all 5, because Steph Curry is a legit 6'3". So this is what you have here. This is what is going on here. And this is what cannot be ignored here. It is just that simple. 888-729-3776. That's 888-SAY-ESPN. That is the number to call up. That's one of the items we're going to get into. The other item we need to get into is Kirk Cousins, because the Minnesota Vikings are talking about going after him. Well, guess what? It was reported a week ago that the New York Jets were willing to guarantee $100 million, if not $150 million of his salary to get him to come to New York. If you're the New York Jets, do you step up and make good on on that reported issue and do that? Or do you let Kirk Cousins get away to somebody like Minnesota? And if you're Minnesota, do you want Kirk Cousins, or do you go after Nick Foles or keep Case Keenum? If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, did you make a mistake by giving Blake Bortles 3 years and $54 million? Or should you have gone for it with that elite defense? Should you have gone for it and gone after a quarterback with more of an upside than Blake Bortles and literally went for it? What do? What do you do? All that and more is worthy of our discussion, and we definitely will do that in the minutes to come right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio. Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. More coming up. I'm just getting started, y'all. Stick around. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show. Back with more in a minute.
Attention shoppers, clean up on aisle 14. Clean up on aisle 14. Someone dropped a jar of pickles. Kosher pickles.
Beatboxing at a big box store. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
A red minivan has the lights on in the parking lot.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Geico.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Y'all don't know anything about that music. That's an old jam by Heavy D. Y'all don't know anything about that. God rest his wonderful soul. You know what this song is, right? Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. That's the type of girl I need down with my team. Y'all don't even know about that. I won't even go there. 17 minutes past hour number 1. Back here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. On a somber note, our hearts are with Mr. Bob Watson, the man responsible for helping to build the Yankee dynasty. back pages of the New York Daily News talks about how he's fighting kidney disease. But this is the reason why I bring this up, ladies and gentlemen. He will not allow his children to give him one of theirs. Quote from the ex-Yankee GM Bob Watson, turning down a life-saving kidney. Quote, I've lived a real good life, and I'm ready for whatever happens now. He doesn't want to compromise the life of his children. I got to tell you something. I think that's an incredibly, incredibly wonderful gesture on his part. I think you got to ask yourself that question in that moment. I throw that out there. I'm looking at my producers right now, just throwing that out there. It's like you have a kidney, you have a damaged kidney. You desperately need a kidney. Your kidneys are damaged. You need a new kidney. If you don't get it, you'll die. And your children could potentially be a match. They could save your life. And you won't allow them to do it because you don't want to compromise theirs. That's what being a parent is all about. Remember years ago when Oscar Robertson gave up his kidney to save his daughter? That's what being a parent is all about. I do it in a heartbeat. I do it in a heartbeat for one of my daughters without question. I wouldn't hesitate. Just thought I wanted to throw that out there and give props to him and all the parents out here in this world who are just like him, just as thoughtful and considerate and just being a wonderful, wonderful parent. 888-729-3776. 888-SAY-ESPN. Other thing, on a lighter note, Sam Darnold, quarterback for USC, refuses to throw any passes during the NFL scouting combine next week. That's what the reports are saying. I want to applaud that young man and say I couldn't agree with him more. I don't know how the rest of y'all feel. Let me be very, very clear about how I feel. I find the NFL scouting combine relatively disgusting. It gets on my last damn nerves. Now, I don't mind the physicals. I don't mind you being summoned to Indianapolis for the NFL scouting combine and put in a situation where, from a physical perspective, you have to show that you're 100% healthy. I have no issue with that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. That's cool with me. It truly, truly is. I don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with it is that once you show that you're healthy and that physically speaking, you're ready to go. Oh, the NFL scouts and player personnel directors and GMs. Oh, they need to watch you in drills. Nah, hell with all that. I played football. You watched me play football throughout my career. You got film on me. You seen me against elite competition and otherwise. Why I gotta play more for you? I wouldn't want to show them a damn thing. Nothing. Absolutely, positively nothing. It rakes my nerves that you play in their college for 2-3 years. And you still got to show up to the scouting combine so they get a chance to further evaluate you. Hell with all of that. It's a risk. Do your homework while we're playing our careers. Put forth your due diligence and make the right decisions. It should be a game. It should be a game of gamesmanship and sportsmanship with executives just like it is with the players. Who has that eye? Who can pick apart what they see on film and what they see watching these guys actually playing competition and draw a conclusion as to who can do what? Who has that ability? That might separate the men from the boys as it pertains to who would be the better GMs in the business. That's what I believe. That's what I stand by. 888-729-3776. 888-SAY-ESPN. And oh, by the way, I alluded to something earlier today. I said what I said about Tiger Woods yesterday, and there's a couple of people that had a problem with my position and what I said. I don't mind. I'm not offended by it, nor do I care. I said what I said. I meant what I meant. Some article on golf.com, okay, written by, I forgot the gentleman's name. I harbor no disrespect. He didn't say anything disrespectful towards me. His name is Dylan Dethier. Dethier. He was very respectful towards me, probably more than I deserve, and I appreciate it because he knows more golf than me. I can tell you that much. But my position about Tiger Woods yesterday was clear, and I stand by it right now. I think he needs to get his mojo back. And I think if people had minded their damn business and left him alone and didn't bother him and what have you, didn't judge and put their moral compass on his shoulders, I think he'd be back by now. I think he would have dealt with his injuries a hell of a lot sooner. I don't think he would have endured what he endured for years. I think part of the reason that he had to endure what he had to endure was because he was too busy trying to please other people and get back in folks' good graces because he got exposed for being the flaming hypocrite that he was, selling an image instead of himself. And it came back to bite him once we found out about all his dalliances. I think that's what happened to him, and it was too much for him to take. But had he been real and authentic and unapologetic about it, I don't think any of us could have said anything, and I think he'd still be destroying competition. That's what I believe. And that includes the Jordan Spieths of the world, the Rory McIlroys of the world, and everybody in between. Yes, I believe Tiger Woods had at least had 16 majors already. But it wasn't meant to be. And I think right now it's a situation where he's trying to get his mojo back. That's what I think it is. And I think we need to leave him alone and let him do it. Worry about his golf. Don't worry about everything else. He knows he messed up. He knows he messed up a good thing. But in the same breath, stay the hell out of people's bedrooms. I'm talking about the rest of us. He didn't cheat on me. He didn't compromise my family. Leave him alone. Let him play. But I think that Tiger Woods is such a lost soul. When you celebrating being 12th, it's not the Tiger Woods I know. Not the Tiger Woods I ever thought I'd see. And I understand the 79 official PGA Tour wins and the 14 majors. I get all of that. I'm talking about what I'm seeing now. And I know he looked good this past week, and I get it. But I don't think Tiger's ever coming back. Not the Tiger we knew. I just don't. 888-729-3776. That's 888. Say ESPN. You're listening live to Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Home Insurance. Getting a quote is easier than ever before. We'll continue talking about all of these subjects. NBA, NFL, with Kirk Cousins and the Jets and the Vikings and Lord knows what else. Sam Darnold not throwing at the NFL Scouting Combine and players choosing not to work out in terms of their performance at the NFL Scouting Combine. Don't have a problem with that either. And, of course, Tiger Woods and what I said. By the way, Deontay Wilder, heavyweight champion of the world, scheduled to fight this kid Luis Ortiz, this Cuban, this Saturday night at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. He'll be on the show with us at the top of the 2 o'clock hour, or the top of the hour number 2, of this show. Can't wait to talk to him as well. Stick around, don't touch that dial. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Let's go to Mitch. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up? Mitch in Queens.
I don't care what your sister says. You sound like Teddy Pendergrass, and sometimes you sound like R. Kelly.
I don't see nothing wrong. No, bro. I don't sound like R. Kelly. I ain't that gifted. But go ahead, man.
There you go. Man, Tiger Woods. His father said he was the savior for humanity and that he was the chosen one. And he was in his own right a civil rights figure. So he put Tiger on that golf stage, and what does he do? He goes on Oprah Winfrey, and you know what he said. And
he said he's not black. He said he's not, when he said he's not black, he's cannibal Asian or something like that.
There you go. That's
okay,
one.
Go ahead.
He lets Freddie Zella and Sergio Garcia insult him on television in front of the world, and he likes to play golf.
Whoa.
The biggest races in the country.
All right, stop right there. Stop. Let me get serious for a second, Mitch. Here's what you have to understand. First of all, he didn't allow Fuzzy Zella and them to do anything. They said what they said. He spoke up about it. They apologized. That's that. Can't take back what they said. That's number one. Number two, he did say that on Oprah. I think that was foolish on his part, no question. But number 3, playing golf and all of that stuff. Listen, say what you will, whatever the case may be. What if he was playing golf with the president and was having a conversation with him about what he could do to help his foundation, which is obviously very charitable in terms of what they give back to the community? See, sometimes we can't get so caught up in the optics that we forget about the potential substance behind a lot of different things. You had people that had a problem with Jim Brown, right? And Ray Lewis when they met with President Trump and they came through those golden elevators. You had other people who attacked Steve Harvey, when he went through those golden elevators and met with them. Okay, that's fine. You can attack them. You could sit there and say you don't like them doing that, meeting with this man, talking to this man. He happens to be the president of the United States that is in a position of power that can influence millions upon millions of American lives, particularly folks in the minority communities. Now, some people would say it's a waste of time to talk to him. Others may disagree. But my point to you, Mitch, would be this. Jim Brown was one of the iconic civil rights activists when he was in the prime of his professional athletic career. Steve Harvey has generated so much positives for minorities and others in communities all over this country. So why can't we just dislike something without excoriating them as human beings? How come we can't do that?
Point taken. I was just thinking, it is the golf stage. You know what I mean? That has a particular history in as far as prejudice and racism is concerned. And even to this day, you can still feel that way because you're calling about Tiger Woods with that, but I didn't bring up anything like that. I said he needed to get his mojo back because I don't think his game would ever return because he was too busy caring about what other people thought. And when he thought that he had gone about the business of adroitly manipulating his own imagery, he was able to focus on a competition and destroy them, annihilate them, and demoralize them. Now he's so busy trying to befriend them and get them to love him that, you know what, he's lost his mojo. And I think whatever it takes to get it back, he should do it. I can't cheer for him. Point taken.
I got it.
About the New York Knicks real quick.
Hurry up. Go ahead.
Kawhi Leonard said he wants to play with Porzingis. Is that going to happen? And Mark Jackson, anything to do with
I will say this to you. Mark Jackson, I think, has a good chance of being the next head coach for the New York Knicks, and I think he should be. I think Jeff Hornacek is a good man. He's a knowledgeable basketball coach. I don't think he's the coach for New York. I think he should be gone at the end of this season, and Mark Jackson should be brought in to be the new head coach for the New York Knicks. It ain't just about basketball IQ. It ain't just about basketball knowledge. It's also about giving New Yorkers a reason to give the team the benefit of the doubt because they're assured that this franchise is moving in a forward direction. I think Mark Jackson gives you that, not just as the coach, but the spokesman for the organization. I don't think anybody else does that for you. Appreciate the call. Joe in Long Island, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Stephen A., 2 quick things, man. I just wanted to speak on what you were talking about with Tiger Woods. Yep. I think the problem is, and not just with golf, but with sports in general, we take these people who play the sport and we idolize them. We put them on a pedestal. Our kids end up idolizing them. When in actuality, we don't know who those people are. So, well,
that's obvious.
But the problem comes in is people can't separate. If the guy does something bad, it doesn't totally make him a rotten person through and through.
That's right.
You know, we all make mistakes. But what happens is it becomes the only point that we see from Tiger Woods is the infidelity or whatever was the situation with him.
And we really shouldn't be looking at that because that's none of our business. Now, what's your next point?
The next point I wanted to bring up is what you were touching on with Mark Jackson. What's stopping them from just, I mean, they're not going to go nowhere with Jeff Hornacek. They know what that is. So why aren't they making moves?
Because you're still.
And what I want to know is, who do you think is stopping Mark Jackson from getting that job, if anyone is?
Well, first of all, I think that the way he departed from Golden State, I think that had something to do with it. You know what? I think that people said things about him that were not true and were not fair. Some of it was fair. I mean, Mark Jackson has a particular point of view. And there are people that hold things against him as it pertained to when one of the Collins? I don't think it was Collins. It was somebody else that was revealed to be a homosexual, and there were statements attached to him that I'm not sure were true. I think that was held against him. Mark is also his own man, and he's not going to just kowtow and kiss people's butt. He's going to be about doing what's right. And I think that sometimes that works against you. But I also think that he's learned the political landscape of things. I think he'd be even better this time than he was before. And he did a hell of a job as the head of the coach of the Golden State Warriors before. I think those are the kind of things that need to be taken into consideration. And I think the reason why we've forgotten about it is because Steve Kerr has proven to be so exceptional. And I think that's the problem. But people, I think, are using it as an excuse to take away from Mark Jackson instead of giving Steve Kerr the credit he deserves. Steve Kerr is a phenomenal coach. And one of the reasons why is that from a psychological perspective, he knows how to touch the pulse of players at the right and appropriate times. And he's an overall good man. And I think in the case of Mark Jackson, to have that guy succeed you is held against him to some degree. But people are not realizing Mark Jackson was one of the better coaches in the NBA. And certainly shouldn't be without a head coaching job right now, especially when the New York Knicks job should be there for the taking for him. I don't think there's any question about that. Got to run, Joe. Appreciate the call. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. We'll continue talking about Tiger, talking about the NBA with the Golden State Warriors, the New York Knicks, Cleveland, Houston, and how much of a legitimate threat they are. Paul George made some news because he feels the big three are not officiated right compared to other teams in the league, other players in the league. That's something that we'll get into as well. And then Deontay Wilder, heavyweight champion of the world, who's fighting this weekend in Brooklyn. He'll be on the show with us at top of the hour number 2. So stick around. It's Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! Ding, ding, dong. Ding, 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 dong. Keep the heads ringing. Get the feeling of being rewarded with gold status at Shell with the Fuel Rewards program. Download the Fuel Rewards app, join and start saving 5 cents a gallon today. Back to the phones we go before Deontay Wilder, heavyweight champion of the world, comes on. At the top of hour number 2, let's go to it. Ricky in Michigan, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Rick.
How's it going, Stephen A?
I'm good. Talk to me, bro.
Watching First Take this morning, me and my wife heard Molly say the NCAA brings in $1 billion in March Madness.
Okay.
So just to give you some numbers or the players for numbers, just in case it comes to it, if you're talking 64 teams at 15 a team, you're talking 960 players, and at $1,000, that'll cost the NCAA out of that $1 billion, $960,000. Now go up to $25,000 for them 960 players. Now it just cost them $24 million. Now if you go up to $100,000, Stephen A., and if you give them all $100,000, that'll cost the NCAA $96 million, not even 10% of that $1 billion. Not to mention, I think Molly said that $850 million is in the regular season or whatever. That's not even 10%.
Well, let me tell you what you're looking at wrong, Ricky. Let me tell you what you're looking at wrong. I understand your point, but here's the question. In college basketball, does somebody at North Carolina, does somebody at St. John's deserve to be paid the same as somebody at North Carolina, Duke, or Kentucky?
And I went over that, and you were exactly right. You hit right on the head.
Hold on. In football, does somebody at Alabama deserve to get paid the same as somebody at Villanova?
Wait.
That's all I'm saying.
I have an answer to that.
Well, hurry up.
I have an answer.
Hurry up. Go.
You get what you bring in. You don't bring in but 100,000. You split 10% of that or whatever. But you're exactly right. You can't get the top 12 teams that make the playoff. You can't get that money. But Stephen A., I got to revolutionize the 3-point NBA system. The NBA will love to use this next year. Get with me. We're doing it in Flint.
Ricky, I'm going to hang up on you. Get to your point. What's the idea? You're on the national airwaves, man. You can't give me a dissertation. Say what you got to say. What is it?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Say what it is. What's your idea?
I revolutionize the 3-point system. It'll bring back the old Pistons against the old Celtics, the old Lakers. It'll bring Bird back, Michael Jordan back. It'll be a head-to-head three-point contest. It's out of this world, Stephen A.
All right.
And they will love it. It will bring all the old school guys back. Guaranteed.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate the call, my man. Let's go to Kevin and Cali. You're live with Stephen A. Real quick, Kev. Go ahead.
Yo, Stephen A., man, I've been chasing you for a year now. I love your style. I love everything about you.
I appreciate it. Go ahead.
I got to get to the point. Floyd Mayweather Jr., okay? I know you're about to talk to Deontay Wilder. He's a man's man, okay? For the last 10 years, Floyd Mayweather Jr. has destroyed the sport of boxing. I know you guys are talking boxing more and more on First Take. I've seen you interview Floyd. It drives me crazy, brother. He avoided every top guy in his time. In fact, I won't even call Floyd Mayweather.
That's not true. That's not true. He did not avoid Canelo Alvarez. He did not avoid Diego Corrales. That is not true. He avoided Pacquiao without question because he thought Pacquiao was cheating. He avoided Pacquiao. You're absolutely right. He did not avoid Oscar De La Hoya. He did not avoid Saul Canelo Alvarez. He did not avoid Diego Corrales. He did not avoid those guys. That's not true. That's false.
Stephen A., can I respond right now?
Hurry up.
Let me tell you something. Canelo Alvarez, he has power in his hands, but he's got slow feet. He moves around the ring like
No. Stop. No, that's not the point. You said he avoided him. Don't tell me he avoided him. Then when I tell you he didn't avoid him, then you're going to say, oh, but he had slow feet and all of this other stuff. There's only one man that beat him, and that was Floyd. He's destroyed everybody else practically. You don't get to do that. You didn't use the word that he couldn't fight. You didn't say he wasn't ready. You said Floyd avoided him. He did not. He did not do that.
Stephen A., Paul Williams at welterweight. How come he didn't want no piece of Paul Williams?
You're gonna bring up Paul Williams when you see the way he got put to sleep. I mean, God bless him because he got in a motorcycle accident or whatever it was, and now he's paralyzed. So I wish him nothing but Godspeed and what have you. But when he got put to sleep, you're gonna bring him up? Just stop it. You didn't call up here to make a point. You called up here to talk trash, and you lost. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Listen to me rap to Deontay Wilder in just a few minutes. He's a heavyweight champion of the world, and oh, by the way, he knows to respect my boxing knowledge. Watch your mouth and your blasphemy. I know my boxing. Okay, watch your mouth. Deontay Wilder, heavyweight champion, up next with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. What's up, everybody? Welcome to hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show, here with you on ESPN Radio, 250 plus markets across the United States of the world of America. Of course, in New York City to L.A. and everything in between. Check your local listings number. Of course, Sirius XM channel 80 as well. That's the ESPN Radio channel on Sirius XM. Number to call up as always is 888-729-3776. That's 888-SAY-ESPN. At some point in time, within the next couple of minutes or so, we're expecting to have the reigning WBC heavyweight champion of the world. His name is Deontay Wilder. He's 39-0 with 38 KOs. He's scheduled to go up against this Cuban Luis Ortiz, who's 28-0. And I'm putting one of my boys on blast. One of my boys is a Philly boy, works for Will Smith, the great Will Smith, the phenomenal Will Smith. His name is Charlie Mack. Everybody knows Charlie Mack. He's probably listening in L.A. He swears up and down this cat, Luis Ortiz, is supposed to be special, and he's going to be the next heavyweight champion of the world. But my next guest has obviously different plans. He is the reigning WBC heavyweight world champion. He's Deontay Wilder, and he's on the phone with yours truly right now. What's up, big time? How are you?
What's up, baby? I'm good. How about yourself?
You know, I mean, talk to me for a second here. I mean, and listen, Luis Ortiz, I mean, you 39 and over 38 KOs. Luis Ortiz is a knockout artist with 28-0, 24 knockouts. Both of y'all are undefeated. I mean, Deontay Wilder might be a rhetorical question, might be a foolish question, but I'm obligated to ask this. Dare I say, we have something to worry about Saturday night as it pertains to you? Is this an opponent that we need to be worried about for Deontay Wilder, sir?
Well, the way I look at it, it's only one knockout artist in this division. His name is Deontay Wilder. And with Luis Ortiz, I don't have no worries in my mind at all. I don't have no worries at all. I can't wait till March 3rd, you know. That's why I say what I say. That's why I speak how I speak. I believe in myself. Nobody has to believe in me. Nobody has to really take heed to nothing that I say. Like I said before, all I want you to do is witness on that night what I will do.
Well, we're talking to Deontay Wilder, WBC heavyweight champion of the world. The fight is this Saturday night, March 3rd. It's at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, it is live on Showtime. It's not pay-per-view. It's live on free, I shouldn't say free TV, but it's live on Showtime. Okay, so just check your local listings. It's live on Showtime. I'm not missing this fight. I gotta ask you though, when you think about this guy, I mean, here's my thinking. I've never really seen you take a punch. I've never had to. You're busy knocking everybody out. That's the way I look at it. That's the part about you that I don't know. I haven't seen you take a punch because you haven't had to, because you're usually beating people up and they're usually covering up and running from you. What do you say to people that say, we haven't seen Deontay Wilder take a punch?
Well, if anyone saw my fight against Burmester Vern first time when I took the title for him, you know, I took a couple of punches because that was one of the things that people was discussing about me. Amongst a lot of other things, you know, but can I take a punch? How is his chin? Do we have a glass chin? And, you know, he hit me with a couple of punches that I took, and I smiled at him and I gave it back to him. You know, I'm not concerned about taking punches from anybody, but I do abide by the golden rule of boxing, and that's to hit and not be hit. You know, it's many things that I can do in this world, and boxing is just not it. So with that being said, I still want all my marbles in my head. I still want to be able to think. I still want to be able to interact with my children. I still want to be able to have civilized conversation with people as I meet them. So I put that in consideration, and I know that this sport that I'm in is a brutal sport. It's a gladiator sport. Not everybody can do this, you know, and I'm just blessed to be one of the best in it that can be able to do it. And with that being said, I go in there with the mentality that I have as being the best, as being the baddest man on the planet, and I make sure that I get him before he get me.
Deontay Wilder, when I look at you, and I mean, I love my boxing. I'm not the boxing aficionado my man Max Kellerman is, because that's pretty much all he knows. He thinks he knows other sports, but he doesn't. It's boxing that he knows. I'm just messing with my brother right there. But the thing about it is that I know a little bit of boxing myself. I've been watching it since I was a kid. When I look at you, the straight right is legit. It's all world. It's something that'll take people out and has taken people out. And I understand that you get wild at times because you got people hurt and you can afford to do that. But sometimes the way you flail looks as if it could leave you open to a power puncher. Maybe not Ortiz, but possibly Ortiz this Saturday night. When people look at you, when you look at yourself, how do you feel about your overall boxing skill? I know you can fight. I know you can take people out because you've done it. But how do you feel about your overall boxing skills? Have you arrived, or is there a lot of work for you to do?
Oh, I'm here. I'm definitely here, you know, in training. I train for everything, you know. People ask me what's my flaws. I say everything is my flaws, you know. I don't just think I'm just this untouchable guy. Although I speak, you know, with positivity, I believe strongly in myself, you know. But of course, I have a lot of flaws, but, you know, I'm definitely here. It's the saying, if it's not broken, then why fix it? To others that's on the outside looking in, of course, they're going to see the fight differently. But on the inside of the ring, in the inside of the ring, you know, it's a totally different. My view is different from what other people see. I see different things than other people see. You know, my world is so different than what others people see on the outside. It's just day and night. And
how important do you believe you are to the game of boxing, and why?
I think I'm when it's coming with the heavyweight division, I'm definitely at the top. Ain't nobody knocking guys out like I'm doing. I tell people, I don't do TKOs. I'm strictly a KO fighter. I don't have to have the ref to step in at times, to stop my fights. Immediately when I hit a guy and the way he fall, whether he's shivering over the pavement or where he's sitting there looking like he dead for a couple of seconds, that was a Deontay Wilder event. And that's what I do. When people get dressed to come and see heavyweight fights, they don't want to see no 12-round fight. They ain't interested in that because they got other things they want to do before the end of the night. I must
confess to you, Deontay Wilder, I was interested in that 12-rounder between Triple G and Canelo, though. I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't interested in that one.
Yeah, but them smaller guys, man, even with the smaller guys, people get restless, you get restless, but with the heavyweights, they already expecting somebody to get knocked out.
Who did you idolize before coming into this game? What made you want to be a boxer?
Man, what got me into boxing was my daughter that was born with spina bifida, but my idol of the sport is Muhammad Ali, man. And it's, for him, it's like what he done in the inside of the ring, but also what he have done on the outside of the ring, how people captivated to him, how they loved him, how they, just loved being around Ali. And I'm a people's person as well, too. Mm-hmm. People stereotype fighters all the time, especially with me, because I have a natural intimidating
mean
face.
Streak. That's right.
Natural intimidating face, and the thing, my occupation is knocking out people. I'm a knockout artist. I do it well. But that don't take away from Deontay Wilder, who I am. You know what I mean? I'm a person that love people. I love intelligent conversation. I love seeing what people low goals is, their high goals is, what their outlook on life is, what energy they bring, what sign that you represent, what symbol,
horoscopes on you,
man, all this stuff, man.
It's interesting that you say that because I listened to you and I listened to what you said earlier. Now, obviously, I would never. I ain't scared of you because I ain't got to get in the ring with you. I ain't got to get in the ring with you, so I'm good. But if I had to get in the ring with you, you know what I would try to exploit as your weakness based on listening to you, Deontay?
What's that?
I try to take you deep into the waters, into the later rounds. You know why? Because you sound like you ain't prepared to go 12 because you never intend to go 12. Because you're a knockout artist. You looking to go in there and finish guys off. Your conditioning, I don't think, no one can look at you and assume that you're conditioning. If anything, that's Ortiz's problem for this weekend. But the point is that you don't look like a person prepared to go 12 rounds because you coming in there to take people's heads off. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I definitely come and take people's heads off, but, you got to understand this is boxing as well, and we prepare to train to be in the best shape of our lives. You can't come in war, or a battle. You can't come into a battle and would not be in this shape because the war is still going on. So I ain't
gonna lie to you. Ortiz don't look in shape. Stavern damn sure wasn't in shape. Yeah. Those were some blubbery brothers. Those some big boys, but they ain't chiseled like you are.
Yeah, well, that's their fault. I come in the best shape of my life, whether I look the part or not. And truth be told, with me, as the rounds get longer, I get stronger. My abilities get even stronger. Like the things I see in the ring even get stronger. Like it's different. For me, I don't get tired at all. I never get tired, ever. I love it. When you love doing something, it's hard to get tired of doing it.
Gotcha.
And that's me. I love knocking guys out. I love being in there with them.
Let me get to a couple of things. Deontay Wilder, WBC heavyweight champion of the world, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. You obviously want Anthony Joshua. I mean, that's the fight everybody wants to see. I got a couple of rapid fire questions before I get to a bigger point. So just answer this real quickly. Would you go to his home turf in England and fight him?
I'll go anywhere in the world.
Do you need him or does he need you?
We need each other.
Why do you need each other?
Because he's a champion and I'm a champion as well too. He can't have my title without fighting me. Ain't nobody finna beat me. I'm going to be around for a long time. I told people black don't crack. So I'm going to be here for a long time.
Now, let me get into now, this is answer this any way you want to. Why has this fight, clearly from a business perspective, boxing has proven that the longer you delay and you make people wait, the more money that'll be there for you at the end of the road. That appears to be what Anthony Joshua is thinking. What is Deontay Wilder thinking?
No, with me, I want to fight now. You know, we're both in our primes. We're healthy. You know, we're doing our thing while we're at the top. My thing, why wait when it's already the buzz? This is not smaller weights. You know, with the heavyweight, it's different. We don't wait for what? You know, with me thinking that they're waiting and talking about this strategy and stuff like that, they're scared. I've been seeing it. Even his promoter don't want to fight at all. His promoter's trying to milk as much money as he can because I am a risk factor. I'm the dangerous man in boxing, and I can mess up all the plans that they have. Joshua don't want to fight me.
What about him messing up your plans? I mean, he's a big boy with power in both hands. Yeah. Took out Vladimir Klitschko. I mean, come on now. Yeah, what about him ruining your plans?
Well, he took out a 17 to almost 2-year layoff Klitschko, a Klitschko that was already beaten, a Klitschko that was already unthrown from his title. And anyway, he really didn't beat Klitschko. Klitschko beat himself. Klitschko had 3 opportunities to get this man out of here. Yeah. You know, so Klitschko beat himself, but they don't want to fight me because I mess up everything. As far as them messing up these plans, I ain't worrying about that at all. You know, they sound confident. He say that, you know, he'll jab he'll put his jab down my throat. He'll hit me with one punch, but I haven't seen it. Y'all talking about fighting Gerald Millers and coming to America doing all that and stuff like that. Everybody but me. You know, they talk about everybody but me, but I'm the one that's the weakest in the division if you let them tell it.
So do you think Anthony Joshua's promoter is running from you or he's running from you?
Both. Anthony Joshua's promoter do not have no confidence in Anthony when it comes to me. He don't want to put that boy in there with me. He make up all these different excuses. He try to brainwash the British public into believing certain things. He put numbers in there. He put popularity. He put a lot of things that doesn't even really pertain to what we're trying to do. They talk about negotiations with. They ain't even came with a serious negotiation thing. They came all the way down here to America to talk about another fighter. They don't want to fight me. They don't want to fight me.
So if Anthony Joshua doesn't want to fight you, and let's just say Luis Ortiz is your latest victim and you take him out quick, where do you go? Because in the heavyweight division, all we see is Anthony Joshua and you. Where do y'all go if you ain't going to fight each other?
Well, there's a lot of other fighters in the division, man, you know. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fighters that's coming up as well that we never heard about yet, you know, but give them a couple more months, even a year. So, hey, it wasn't no Deontay Wilder. It wasn't an Anthony Joshua, you know, a couple of years and we came up on the scene. So it's a lot of fighters out here. It's just people just not, you know, in tune with it. You know, the heavyweight division is starting where it has came back, you know, and the excitement has been overwhelming, especially for the last year coming into this year. So we definitely have options, but the main fight, the ultimate fight that people want to see is me versus Joshua, you know, and I'm looking forward to it. Once I make a devastating statement come March the 3rd with Luis King Kong Ortiz, you know, I don't think it's going to be nowhere they can run. Like I told them, I'm going to smoke them out. And once I knock Ortiz out, the fans should smoke them out as well, too.
So, just so I'm clear, this Saturday night, live on Showtime at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, the WBC Heavyweight World Championship fight between you and Luis Ortiz, 28-0, 24 KOs against you. You are guaranteeing a knockout. Is that correct?
That's what you're hearing.
My man, good luck. I'll be watching. Appreciate you. Proud of you. Keep it up. Take it easy.
Thank you so much, bro. Blessings.
No doubt. The one and only Deontay Wilder, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, begging for Anthony Joshua to come out of the dark and have the courage to fight him. First, he's got to handle his business against Luis Ortiz. And I'm telling you right now, I'm expecting a knockout. I expect Luis Ortiz to try to throw bombs. Here's the problem. I watched him. The right hand from Wilder seems tailor-made. I mean, I don't know how Ortiz is getting away from that one. I really, really don't. But we shall see. More of the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio in a minute.
Jenny had a dream of joining the national bobsled team. She worked out relentlessly and knew that if she just refused to give up, one day her dream would come true and she'd stand triumphantly up on the podium. But when her kids reminded her that she was 52 and she lived in Texas, and maybe she started dreaming this dream a little late in life, she gave up on not giving up. But then she heard how Geico could save her money on car insurance, so she switched and achieved that dream instead.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
You know, talking to Deontay Wilder just now on ESPN Radio. By the way, ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch to Progressive can save an average of $620. Thanks again to Deontay Wilder, WBC heavyweight champion of the world, coming on talking about us. I just was having flashback to some great, great memories. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I've been a sports journalist for 25 years. And I got to tell you, I've covered the Super Bowl. I've covered the World Series. I've covered Lord knows how many NBA finals. I've been to big-time boxing matches. I have done so many different things. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, one of the greatest moments that I have seen, that the kind of moments that has your hair standing up on your skin, is when I watched Mike Tyson enter the ring. I watched Mike Tyson enter the ring on October 20th, 2000 against Andrew Galata. Watching Mike Tyson walk into a ring was something special. Now, that was the fight when Andrew Galata quit. He refused to fight, was pushing his trainer, was pushing the referee. They tried to stick a mouth guard in his mouth and all of this other stuff. He wanted no parts of anything. No parts of anything when he was getting punished by Tyson. It was something special. And the thing for me, I miss stuff like that. I bring stuff like that up because I miss Roy Jones Jr. so bad. And I know Roy Jones has been fighting and needs to retire. He knows how I feel about that. He's my buddy. He needs to retire, and he should have retired a while ago. But when Roy Jones Jr. in his prime was such a bad brother, you didn't even care who he was fighting. You didn't even care. All you cared about was seeing him perform, because that's how sensational Roy Jones Jr. was. Mike Tyson, he just put you to sleep. Speaking of sleep, Zeepa is the only snoring solution of its kind. If you or someone you know snores, you need to get a Zeepa. Zeepa is truly a game changer. Listen, I used to be like you, and I'd wake up tired all the time because I was snoring all the time. That was before I started using Zeepa. Now I wake up feeling great every day. When you get great sleep, you feel better. You have more energy. Now, please don't be fooled by the imitators, because there's only one Zeepa. The way you can tell if it's a legitimate Zeepa is the tongue strap, and it's on Zeepa.com. Go to ZYPPAH.com. That's ZYPPAH.com. It's time to take control of your sleep. Again, Zeepa is only available on their website, Zeepa.com, and it's the only one with the patented tongue strap that's been proven to work. So go to ZYPPAH.com. That's Zeepa.com, and get the great sleep you need and the great sleep you deserve. Back with your calls and more in a minute. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. Surprise a friend or loved one today with a bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. When you order a dozen multicolored roses for only $29.99, you'll get another dozen absolutely free. So go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. Back to the phones we go at 888-729-3776. That's 888-SAY-ESPN. Let's go. Perry, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Hey, Stephen A. A couple of comments, please. One about Zaza and one about Tiger.
Just go ahead.
You know, okay, Zaza. There's highlight after highlight of this guy kicking people, hitting people. He has a track record. That's why people don't like him.
Okay.
And I think the NBA needs to step in.
Okay.
And the position of, well, we don't see any intent. I think the position based on his cheap shot track record and watch the play. Come on, that guy doesn't just fall. He leaps toward the guy's legs. Now, is he trying to hurt him?
What's your second? He's trying to jump on him. Listen to me. What's your second point? You know why I'm not interested in that? I refuse to attach value to Zsa Zsa Pachulia. Not today. You're right. You're not wrong. We said it yesterday. We ain't gonna waste our time talking about Zsa Zsa. They ain't doing it. What's your second point?
All right. Tiger. Now, the thing with Tiger, you alluded to it earlier. The guy had the world in his hand. He made a bad mistake. So be it. He made a mistake. The area that I'll disagree with you on is this. I think those injuries were pretty bad. I mean, a guy... No,
sir. There's nothing to disagree with me about. I'm not saying that the injuries were not bad. I'm saying he would have overcome them earlier as opposed to exacerbating the problem by trying to work through it because he was hell-bent on restoring his image that he sacrificed his health even more along the way. That's what I'm claiming.
Okay. I will give you that played a part in it, but I think the bigger part were the injuries. And moving forward, I mean, I just want the guy. He's not my favorite guy, but I want that competition back. I love seeing him go against these guys. I love to see it again.
That's fair. I want to see him too. I want to see him winning because I think the world of golf is much better and it's much more compelling and interesting when Tiger Woods is in it. So I appreciate the call, Perry. Thank you so much. Robert, you're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, Robert?
Hey, man. I am really nervous, Stephen A. Your show was great, but I have to disagree with you some stuff that you said yesterday about the NBA, and you said that they call them world champs because they get people all over the world. And then you kind of offended me as a Caucasian a little bit. Baseball and hockey have been doing that well before basketball. I don't believe that the rest of the world got in touch with basketball until the Dream Team came out. You know,
well, first of all, I don't know why you would find that offensive. What I'm saying is that the NBA has gone about the business of globalizing its brand better than anybody. And I'm not talking about just because it has players from all over the world in their league, because you're right. Baseball players, I mean, there are obviously a lot of players that are not from America that play Major League Baseball. But I'm talking about the marketing and branding of your brand. That's what I'm talking about. The NBA has successfully been globalized.
Wouldn't you agree, though, they haven't even started doing that until the Dream Team came out?
Yeah, but I'm saying I never debated that. I'm saying that's where it is now. And because that's where... what's your point?
Me as like a white person, because I feel like, okay, you got hockey where it looks like it's a lot of white people, but that's just because a lot of cold nations have light-skinned people, which you can't hold that against them.
My man. First of all, I didn't go that route, but since you want to go there, are you really going to make the argument that there's diversity within the National Hockey League?
There is. It's not their fault that cold countries don't. Hold
on. We're not discussing fault. Nobody's to blame in terms of the players that actually participate. Nobody's blaming anybody, but you're not going to make the argument here that there's a whole bunch of minorities running around in the sport of the National Hockey League, are you?
There is, though. It's not. National Hockey League is not ran by white Americans anymore. It hasn't been in a long time. There's a lot of Russians.
They're foreigners. There's a difference between foreigners and minorities. I'm saying, look, what we're talking about. Do you live in America?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are there any folks, do you see a plethora of African Americans or Hispanics interested in hockey?
No, but that's
it's not right there. How about Native Americans or Asian Americans? Do you see those?
Warmer countries, though. It's not.
That's not the. Listen. Here's where you're pissing me off. Because you're getting up in an uproar over no reason. I'm telling you that you can't deny the fact that as it pertains to North America, that there's not a strong interest in hockey outside of the white community. That doesn't make you wrong. I didn't bring it up. Since you brought it up, it doesn't make them wrong, but it is a fact. And you're sitting up there and getting emotional over what? Offended over what? The fact that outside of foreigners, what you have is primarily white Americans interested in the National Hockey League. But that's knowing that the minority communities the National Hockey League does not appeal to them. It's a fact.
In America, yes, but what about...
What are we talking about? Am I doing a show in Russia? Am I doing a show in Russia? Am I doing a show in England? Am I doing a show in Kazakhstan? Am I doing a show I'm in America. I'm talking about America.
Okay, well, American baseball hasn't been ran by white Americans in years. I'm sorry. You see the Latino community. Why does Major League Baseball have the RBI program, reviving baseball in the inner city? Why is it that 6 or 7% of African Americans participate in baseball? It is a clear concern on the part of baseball. I don't think baseball's at fault. I don't think they did anything wrong. But the fact of the matter is the absence of minorities in the sport is something that Major League Baseball feels they need to pay attention to. That's why they have programs to try to generate interest in its sport. Nobody's faulting them for it. You're just recognizing that it's an issue. So what's the problem? It's a minority thing in America, but there's plenty of other cultures that are playing
why would those other cultures? Where are you from?
I'm Michigan, Muskegon.
Well,
Michigan.
then why the hell are you sweating what the other countries like? I didn't complain about them. I'm saying that in America, this is what it is. And it's a concern for them because they want dollars from American folk. It's what they want to do to market. That's why they market their sport. It's business.
Occasions playing baseball anymore.
Goodbye. Have a nice day. I tried. Did I try, y'all? I tried to explain to this man 5-6 different ways. I tried. But Robert's emotional. He ain't making no damn points. What you gonna do to come to me next? You know what? It really resonates in Kazakhstan. You should see how it's doing over there. Is that your damn argument? Is it? I swear, boy. Some people, it's unbelievable. I did not bring up any racial demographics or anything like that. He brought it up. But if you're going to bring it up, know what the hell you're talking about. And by the way, make sure it's relevant. Major League Baseball wants everybody's dollars. And in America, you don't want black appeal. You don't want white appeal. You don't want Jewish appeal. You don't want Asian American appeal. You know what you want if you really want to be successful? You want mass appeal. You want it all. You don't alienate any of the dollars. That's why the NBA is on the come up. Why the NFL is king. And why everybody else is down below looking up. More of your calls to close out the show in a minute. This is Stephen A., ESPN Radio.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! 49 minutes. Past hour number 2 back here in the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. Let's get to the phones. Listen, we got to get on out of here quick in a few minutes or so make your points real quick or I will make you. It's very, very simple. Benny, Dallas, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Hey, Stephen A., how you doing, man? Hey, I'm Benny. In Dallas, I'm 64 years old. I know you're 50, and I've been listening to you ever since you've been in existence, okay? And I've agreed with a lot of points, and I've disagreed. But I think you're right on one point. We, as an African-American community, have started to just, throw our heroes under the bus, because of mistakes that they made. And I think you're right. When you said that Tiger Woods' personal life, that's his personal life. He knew he screwed up. But I'm not willing to throw him under the bus. I will say this. I think he needs to get it.
Benny, let me say this to you. I will say this to you. Throwing somebody under the bus is not calling them out for what they've done. Throwing them under the bus is belaboring the issue. Like if you mess up, I'm in a field and in a platform. I work for ESPN. I don't give a damn what ethnicity you are, what your background is. If you mess up, and it's relevant and newsworthy, I have to say so. But saying so is one thing. Belaboring it ad nauseum is another. And in that regard, you're right. But in the same breath, that's why you're professional athletes. You're not amateurs. You're making a boatload of money And you got to be able to stomach it. And whereas we can point to us and point to our culpability in it all, we can't give Tiger Woods a pass. Tiger Woods needed to be stronger. I mean, if you're going to sit up there and mess up like that, be strong enough to take it. Not drug yourself up or look at like it appeared that you did, sitting there looking into the camera. I am so sorry. That ain't going to cut it. You got to go out there and destroy the competition like you've always been doing. And that's what he stopped doing, Penny.
You get back on your game. And I agree with you. And I applaud you for your comments,
That's right.
And I totally agree with you. And I think as a community, if we learn to start doing that, especially with people like Tiger Woods and Mike Tyson and some of the other ones who've gone down the tube,
please.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Benny, I got to run. I got to cut you short, but don't throw Mike Tyson into that equation. Mike Tyson, listen, I love my Iron Mike, but we know what he served prison time for, and the brother came out, and now he got a damn Broadway play. Okay? He's on Broadway. He's starting on Broadway. I mean, come on now. I mean, if anybody's recovered, it's him. Aaron in L.A., you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Stephen A., what's your opinion on a potential fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, considering Wilder has been criticized for his boxing technique in the past?
You're killing me, Aaron. You're putting me on the spot, brother. To answer your question. I do think Deontay Wilder is a bit on the wild side. I do. But I would still pick him against Anthony Joshua. Do you know why? Two reasons. Two reasons. That straight right hand, A. And B, I think Wilder could take a punch. I'm not sure Joshua can.
Wow.
You feel me?
But, dude, do you see Deontay, the only way he could beat Joshua is by knockout? You can't.
Yes.
Can you see him winning a decision is what I'm asking?
No, not at all. Not only because Anthony Joshua, I think, is the better boxer, but also Anthony Joshua is a crowd favorite, and I think he'd get it from the judges. Deontay Wilder would have to knock him out. And I think Deontay Wilder can take a punch better than Anthony Joshua. My problem is that Anthony Joshua, I believe, to be the better boxer. And that's where the challenge is for me, bro.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephen A. Have a good one, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Kyle, real quick, you're live with Stephen A. Real quick, go.
Stephen, like you said, Tiger Woods, man, needs to just go ahead man, and get his guts back, man, and go on out there and whoop people's ass and quit trying to make everybody like him. And another one is you. I'm so glad in my lifetime, I'm 70 years old, to see a young black man, nation to nation, can rap with anybody in the world, and I am so proud of you, brother. Keep it up.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. Always appreciate that coming from the elder statesman, from my community and beyond. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for those kind words. They mean a lot to me. Got to get ready to get on out of here. I'll be back 22 hours from now. There's a lot to discuss as the week progresses. NBA is back in action. Some NFL stuff. Kirk Cousins, Nick Foles, New York Jets, Minnesota Vikings. So much stuff to get into. Cowboys and Jerry Jones. I didn't get into that too much today, but I will tomorrow since the NFL wants $2 million back from Jerry Jones. That makes me laugh. I hope they get it. But we'll talk about that and more tomorrow. Until then, peace and love. Talk to you later.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.